Based on the reactions and what's been happening in the US, in New York for us, clearly the world is ready for us. It's not just our artists are ready, the world is ready. Here in the Philippines, there are no art book publishers, that are doing this on a regular basis. Our institutions are not strong. While there are very few institutions that have peers that go out into the global art world and participate, we're not connected to a global pulse here. Parang wala tayong representation ba outside. But the people who represent us may be Patrick, definitely Patrick, but Patrick is one person. We need many Patricks. Just like we need many Silverlenses to create a critical discourse. I feel like standards have gone up, in the 20 years that we've been around. I wish institutions would become stronger. And it's not for a lack of talent or intelligence. It's really a lack of funding. Perhaps if we have proper biennale or triennale, I think that those are two concrete directions that can move forward. Over the pandemic, we were getting a lot of inquiries from the US specifically, from curators, writers, and art world people, wanting to do studio visits on Zoom with our artists. And also when we looked at our website, 30% of our viewership was coming from the US. We didn't know it. We had never done anything there before. So we thought, well, maybe now is the time to go. Based on the reactions and what's been happening in the US, in New York for us, clearly the world is ready for us. It's not just our artists are ready, the world is ready. So I spent a month in New York in June of 2021 with my co-director and partner, Rachel Rillo. And at that time, every single show that we saw in New York was an African-American or a Black artist. And we thought, wait, if this is happening, then there is space for us. There is a curiosity and a blind spot that exists that needs to be filled. An amazing gallery space came up, was available in the heart of Chelsea on 24th Street, ground floor. It's as big as this, high ceilings, skylights, and it was for sale. And it was a price that we could afford. And so we went for it. So our primary audience in the US are museums. So we want to place work in every major global institution in the world. And in the US, aside from, the metropolitan museums and the museums of modern art and the Whitney and the Guggenheim, there are also a large number of regional museums. So every state, every city has a regional museum. Dallas, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, name it. Miami is a big one. So we are also connecting with all of these decision makers in these places and telling them, hey, look at what we have. Look how important this is, and look what's missing in your collection. So aside from the regional museums, there are also hundreds of university institutions, university museums that collect art to use in their teaching. So this is a whole other subset of audience that we have. We receive maybe 2 or 3 portfolios a week. And I look at them every month. So every month I just look at what people are sending in. But normally that's not how we find artists. We usually find artists by our existing artists recommending artists to us. Because, you can imagine in 20 years, we've had, many people come and go in our team. So they recommend also artists who they feel are ready for this rigorous kind of relationship with the gallery. I think once an artist gets money and, once they finish their house, their studio, their car, their parents' retirement, they should travel. There's a lot of global annual art events that they can see, or go to any city Go to Tokyo, ang lapit-lapit, maski na Singapore lang or Hong Kong. See what's going on, because there's a lot. And then, of course, the biennales and the triennales that are going on. I think those are more important to go to than art fairs. I think the Philippines is very special in that it's very community-based. Even the art world is a community. You know, we all know each other. When we started representing artists, that was the big question. What do we do with the other galleries? And I said, we have to make it a win-win situation for everyone. If Gallery A wants to show your work, of course they can. But it has to be the best work that you can make. We all split in whatever is made, right? We get a small commission, but the exhibiting gallery gets the lion's share. And with that, over the years, the artists have realized that that small commission is worth so much in terms of what we do for them. We market them all the time through our website, through our social media channels. So I think that over time, the artists realize that this relationship with us creates a lot of energy for them. There's a lot of confidence also on the collectors that aalagaan yung artist. When the artist works with us solely, we are able to chart, an opportunity path and a growth path for them. Even if they only show maybe once every 2 or 3 years, they're super busy in between. What you see here as an exhibition is only the tip of the iceberg. It's probably only about 15% of what we do. At any given point in time, we have about 10 to 15 shows around the world that's going on. We opened the New York Gallery with 2 artists, Yi Ilan from Kota Kinabalu in Sabah, and Martha Atienza from Bantayan Island in Cebu. So that was our opening show. And then other artists that we featured, we just finished the show of Patricia Eustaquio. Our current show now is a group show that includes Santiago Bose and Stephanie Sihuko. So it's a mix of artists from here and then also artists from the States who have a connection to the Philippines or Southeast Asia and the Asian diaspora. The artists that are doing well for us are not necessarily painters. People like Martha Atienza, she does video and installation. Yi Ilan is now a superstar. She's from Kota Kinabalu. Imelda Kahipe Endaya, she's about to be born in the international stage. Patricia Eustaquio, who does painting, but who also does weaving and who does textile work. Geraldine Javier. So these are the artists that people are very much interested in abroad. We don't have the inventory to put into auction. A lot of our artists, their values are established not by an auction market, but their primary prices and then their museum, their resumes and their CDs. We don't play that game. It's not the direction we want our artists to take, because if auctions fall, then that will fall. The auctions are secondary, tertiary trading. We are a primary practice. In other words, our relationship is primarily with the artists, and we work together to support their studios and to get their work out into the world. We have museum artists. We don't have auction artists. Auctions are very fickle, you cannot control that. But the fact that We have already gone through many years of working together, and we know they have it in them. They can do whatever they want. We never let the market control what our artists need. The artists control what they need, and the market follows. I came from a very traditional, conservative Catholic family, born in Manila, but my family is from Mindanao. I went to college at the University of the Philippines with the intention to become a medical practitioner. When I finished medical school and took the boards and I passed, it was also the day that I retired from medicine. And I went into other fields, which was media. I did many things that were sort of to awaken this creative impulse in me. Fortunately, I was able to find it by museum going. I was fortunate enough to discover a small museum on a vacation I was taking in New York. That was sort of my initiation into the art world. When I saw a show that really, moved me, I thought, wow, this is a whole world, and I want to enter it. So I ended up going back to school. I applied for a master's degree in media in New York City. I did as many internships as possible and became assistants to several artists. And I worked for a gallery for a bit, all while I was there in the 4-year period. And then I realized I wanted to open a gallery because I just felt like museums in the Philippines are not strong institutions. So there was less freedom in them. And there was more freedom in trying to do things, trying to mount shows that I was interested in. So that's how the gallery was born. Well, in 2004, when I came back from New York for my studies, I wanted to put up a gallery. It was in an apartment building in BGC. Started out as a photography gallery. We had 3 or 4 shows there. And then I realized, okay, we need to move. It was called the Yupanco Complex beside Caravan, at the end of Pasang Tuma Extension. We decided to do longer shows, 5 weeks, producing a lot of media around the shows. At back then, it was still printed media. Now we have a whole media team that does a lot of content for digital distribution to have the artists heavily involved in creating energy around the shows. So talks, walkthroughs. So really more acting like a museum rather than a commercial art gallery. That was a show I did about 21 years ago. I wanted to meet and to learn about pioneering Filipinas and to see sort of, what made them tick. Women like Heidi Yorak, Hilda Cordero, Tita Hilda, Del Mundo, Lourdes Pontinola, Socorro Ramos. And in this book, we had identified and actually, been able to access about 40 of them. Role models are hard to come by. As a young Filipina then, I wanted to see what made them tick, and to learn from that. I'm constantly thinking of even these women, these Filipinas, who all worked in different... we had a chemical engineer, we had a mayor, there was a nun, was also a doctor. We had scientists, we had writers. I was really moved by everyone's ability to self-start and curiosity. Curiosity, learning about what they don't know. And if they're curious about something, they want to know. Ano yan? Paano yan nangyari? In terms of one person, perhaps it's Rachel, because we're 2 for running this operation and I wouldn't be able to do this without her. I think be a lifelong learner. I went to school for so many things, but it didn't teach me what I needed to learn about life or about what we do. I can see the people who are going to be prime movers in their lives are the ones who don't wait for opportunities. They create their own opportunities. If you want to learn about how to make indigo dyeing, how to dye indigo, you gotta find the best person you can find who does it and ask them, can you teach me? I think school is a good area to learn discipline and patience and socialization. But when you figure out what you really want to do in life, when you see your North Star, you need to find the people who can take you there. And they're not in school. They're the people around you. And if they're not around you, find the people who can help you.